Acktheboker very well balanced in his execution and his prowess of the logic. Meanwhile, TGH extremely well known for his execution style. And it looks like we are going to start here. Acktheboker picking up a heart container, and I didn't quite see what Teach got. Did you?
His screen was tearing up a little bit for me when his loaded in, so I did not, in fact, see. Ack is going for the pseudo standard start, like straight from Sanctuary, heading west. It's not a strat you see too commonly anymore, because the tournament is open mode. But it can definitely give you a little bit of a head start on your opponent if they're trying to do like this elaborate start that hits a bunch of different corners and a bunch of different options. And if they're not rewarded with anything, it's just a bunch of time waste.
Right, and TGH did get a bunch of bombs on his way through the Uncle route there. Didn't really get anything too much of value, but those bombs are really going to come in handy as he enters Kakariko here.
I'm surprised he went for the save and quit. I thought he would have just headed west with all those bombs. Because usually you go from Link's house if you have to farm bombs at the bushes. But we know he got an 8-drop, so he doesn't need to do that.
Maybe he just wants 10 bombs, who knows. Wow, Acktheboker getting the green rupee at the Thieves' Den and electing to save and quit as well.
That was a heart container in Link's house as well. I like that adaptation from Ack. He checked the tree pull, he checked the crab, didn't get anything. He said, instead of walking past Kakariko a bunch of times, wasting a bunch of time walking back and forth, just gonna save and quit and go farm some bombs.
Yeah, I do like this play, and he gets the 8 bomb drop. That's nice RNG there. Gonna save him a bunch of time. It actually saves him around 40 seconds from going all around Kakariko like you're alluding to.
He's also not going to check what's on the ledge, just going to elect to go straight into the maze. So,
yeah, he is going to like what he's going to find here. With the fairy in the bottle being these racers' first bottle, it'll allow them to check out Sick Kid as they're in Kakariko. Alright, and just a heart piece in the library. So what do you want to see in Kakariko, Ben?
I like seeing early Dark World access. I feel like it really opens up the seed, gives the players a lot of options, what dungeons they can do, where they can go, and pretty much like lets you really see how the players like to play out the seed. So I like to see early either Titan's Mitts or a combination of Hammer and Glove. Just something to get them across the portal.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with you there. I really love seeing the early Dark World play, especially teasing the players if they have that early 6-minute entry into Dark World through Village of Outcasts.
As Christos calls it, the Dark World bait. Both players gonna get silvers in the chicken coop here, so that's pretty good for them.
Indeed, early silvers are always nice, even better with an early bow pairing. And TGH is going to elect to go into the dam first.
I think he's hoping for at least 1 or 2 more rupee drops out of these chests so he can talk to the shopkeeper right away. Nice sword. And he got it. He got a red rupee, so now he can talk to the bottle vendor and get his item, not have to double back into the town. It's good for him.
Yeah, he's going to like that route and literally just getting enough rupees to be paid off with 50 rupees.
That was capitalism at its finest right there, ladies and gentlemen. Ack is going to be 20 rupees short, so he'll have to double back after doing Blind's house. So a little tiny time loss, but not a big deal.
All right, and we do get the early glove here in Blind's basement. So Power Glove right now is actually going to open up a couple of locations for them in the logic with what their items are. Primarily the back 3 chests in Escape, and actually Zora as well right now.
Yep, for sure. Though neither player even remotely close to the rupee total that they need for Zora.
Indeed, even if they did a Houlihan route, they probably still would be fighting for rupees as well, as there's only 225 rupees in that room.
Yeah, so both players will probably head to South Shore first. Ack looking like he might be heading towards that back half of Escape with his Power Glove. Or Sequence Breaking DM.
I think that's what he's going to do. Wow, this is a big play early on.
He does have the sword, so the navigation is going to be pretty straightforward. He's not going to have any issues there. But yeah, this is interesting. There's only 2 items on Death Mountain. The one from the Old Man and the one in the Spectacle Rock Cave. But he is going to get the save point for quicker travel later. So, it doesn't really hurt to get that out of the way.
Right, it is a great saving grace for this play early on, as he is going to get that early warp. So the time spent here is going to get negated unless we get like an early flute.
TGH not finding anything in the back half of Escape, just a map, some rupees, and an arrow capacity upgrade for his troubles.
Meanwhile, Ack getting 20 rupees for escorting the Old Man back to his house.
That was some excellent pumping on that ladder. Ack looked like he was running up the ladder.
That was really nice.
He went up so fast.
All right, there's some more of it. Oh yeah. Literally has
like boots. That. You don't like notice if you only casually played the game, but if you mash left and right while moving vertically on a ladder, or moving north on a ladder, I should say, you actually run way faster up the ladder. So that's what Ack was doing, and that's why it didn't even look like he was walking on a ladder. It looked like he was just walking on regular ground from how well he was pumping.
Absolutely. Ack actually scouting 100 rupees inside the Spectacle Rock Cave and said, nuh-uh, no thanks.
Yeah, he still has a lot to check. Ooh, Soggy Book. Will he make the gamble? Go left?
We do have literacy. We might see him elect to dip into Mini Moldorm Cave and then perhaps go back left into Desert. We'll have to wait and see what he does.
Eastern 5, Desert 6. I didn't quite catch what was Hera. So he might...
his pendant.
So he might decide to double back to Desert if he finds a fire source soon. Or maybe if he doesn't even find his pearl. Nice bomb throw. Another slight divergence here from Ack.
Ooh,
There's
fire
some
rod. I can totally see him going to Desert now.
Now, assuming it is not boots locked, which is a 33% chance, he can complete it now.
Alright, well, TGH is electing to go to Ice Rod Cave instead right now. Can't blame him. It's a pretty free check early on.
Ack is probably going to go ahead and finish Escape while he's here. Part of the drawback of checking Uncle at the start of your route is that it minimizes the importance of the front half of Escape because there's 2 less checks over there for you. So, for Ack, he's going to invest that time into this location because it's 5 chests for him, whereas for TGH right now, it's only 3. So, TGH having different priorities.
Indeed, and it could save precious seconds on his routing as well.
But TGH has been burned quite often by Escape. Anybody from his stream will be able to testify to that. So.
And we get the hook shot in the first chest, so he's making the right play here. So I
Ack?
wonder if Ack is going to elect to go back up to Death Mountain now with that hook shot.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but with that first chest being the hook shot, that means the small key has to be in the dark chest. And so far, that means they don't have to go get it, right?
That is absolutely correct.
So that's pretty good for them. They don't even have to death warp here. They can just wow. Okay. And a moon pearl.
Yeah, this is a rich escape here.
Ganon thought putting all those precious items in his own basement would protect them, but unfortunately, Link is a crafty adventurer.
So to quickly explain why the sewer chest is going to be the small key, in open mode, the way the small key works in Escape is it can be in one of 3 locations. It could be in one of the 3 chests in the back 3 chests in Escape. It could be in the first chest downward in Escape, or it could be in the sewer. So by checking the other 2 locations, we know by process of elimination, the sewer chest has the small key.
And with the Master Sword there, the players now are pretty well equipped for their adventure, I would say, at least for the first half of it here. Ack is going to find his blue mail shortly. They have 6 hearts, Master Sword. So I don't expect them to have too much trouble, at least for the next, 15 to 20 minutes here, exploring the world.
That's one of the best escapes I've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you personally are like, Escape never has anything. I'm not even going there. But you might have got burned by that in this seed here.
Might have.
It depends on where the logic would have stopped them, but yeah, it's a possibility.
I would have for sure, because I would have gotten that book and just went straight left. Not even went to Mini Moldorm. You think it's gonna be boots locked? Is on his way there. If I could speak.
Early on usually is. My question will be, are they going to steal the big or the small key if it is?
Did he check what was on the ledge? I didn't see if he...
Yeah, it looked like it was just arrows. Or bombs, I couldn't really tell. I just know it was not worth.
Ack getting his other Christmas outfit, and then his fire rod. Think of Jingle Bells. Christmas Link just uses it as a maraca while he's caroling. It's ice rod in one hand, fire rod in the other.
Yeah, I hope the viewers love Deep Blue.
Or in TGH's case, green.
Alright, so it looks like Ack is going to make the similar play, and we do see Titans on the torch.
So not boots locked, but boots are indeed required. That's interesting. Because boots can still be in many, 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 many places. But for sure they cannot be on Dark World Death Mountain, Ice Palace, Misery Mire, or the Smith sequence. T's just walked through the wall. Oh my God.
I actually wonder if that's going to serve as a hint to go right to Aghanim.
Yeah, that poses an interesting decision to the runners, because they can either, continue their search for the hammer or the boots for Dark World access that way, or they can just assume that those 2 items are in the Dark World themselves and head straight to Aghanim. But they probably want to find the lamp first. But if they find a lamp, I can see that pushing them even more.
Most definitely, because that lamp is a big cue that it will be required. Just in foresight, TGH has gone in record in saying, "I'm never doing Dark Aghanim Towers," so he'll definitely look for that lamp first. Yeah,
so most likely the lamp is either at Zora or in the eastern area, and that gives them access to East Death Mountain according to the logic, where they might find more progression.
Or they can find boots somewhere in Eastern as well before the Dark Room, before the sequence break.
Yeah, and then that would give them all of Dark World, basically, except for the east side.
No, they can always sequence break the east side too. Both these runners surely know the Jesus Dash.
Oh yeah, that's true as well. So both these players pretty much doing the same stuff at the moment. Ack just a few steps behind Tej, but Ack has already accessed Death Mountain and has the save and quit spot, so that's why he's slightly behind. Sorry about that. Let me just...
Alright, TGH with a very nice Lamos 1 fight. And now Ack's gonna try his hand on him. Oh, an excellent fight from Ack as well. Very well done. Like, that double spin for the third worm was just awesome.
Sorry about that. Apparently somebody left their phone in my room and they were calling it to find it. And I was like, why is that in my room? Anyway, I assume both these players destroyed land moles.
Absolutely. You actually missed a really good fight from Ack as well. He, like, double spinned the third worm. Like, he went right into a spin, got hit twice.
TGH just found a lamp, so that means Death Mountain is on the table.
Yes, it is. Now, both our runners can go to Aghanim, but with East Death Mountain awaiting them, I highly doubt one of them are going to make that play right now. And in fact, Tej is in fact going to go up to East Death Mountain.
It's also hard to make that play if you don't have a play once you get to the Dark World. Usually you want to at least have the hammer so you can cross the bridge to the south. Or, I guess with the gloves and the hookshot, they can cross across the water
Right.
in the north. I always consider that like flippers plus hookshot. I guess the seeds have always conditioned me to look at it that way.
Yeah, and they could always go to a force pot as well, but obviously that's like option F. They never want to have to do that unless they had the prerequisite equipment to clear it.
Oh, interesting. Ack had not checked for the second item before heading to Land Molas, so he had to double back and find it.
It's going to pay off, though, because he's going to end up landing himself right near Gina's cave anyways. Alright, so TGH is going to get his 20 bucks from the old man. Meanwhile, Ack is going to get his lamp from Agina's cave.
And this is that save point we were talking about earlier. Ack just teleported right next to TGH. And he doesn't even have to climb the mountain because he already checked Spectacle Rock. So he'll be able to just cut across right away.
Right, I actually think that Lamos 1 fight saved Ack a little bit of time, actually.
So here we have the Paradox Cave, or the Wall of Caves, as some people call it. 7 chests on East Death Mountain.
Like this play by Tej, he's getting the Scout of Darkworld here. We do see Mire and Ice are pendants. Mire being the green pendant, and Pod being Crystal 5. And wow, there's the boots from Ack in the first 2 chests of 7 Chest Cave. There's your favorite item, Ben.
I would have loved this seed. I can't complain. My last seed had like 30-minute boots. But yeah, 20-minute boots is better than 30-minute boots.
Or hour-long boots.
Or sometimes no boots. Wow,
Right.
that was really smart of Act to cut him through the chest and like know that he's not gonna hit the switch. It's always nice to not have to do Spiral Cave with the boots either.
Absolutely. You're going to save him about 25 seconds with those boots in tow as well.
Nothing on the floating island. Technically, the runners didn't have to double dip desert if they had just came up to Death Mountain with their hookshot, or they could have technically gotten the lamp from Agina and then gone up the mountain and then went back to desert. But of course, there's no way for them to know that. Axe probably gonna go get his time mints right now.
Yeah, he's going to go right back over and get his Titan Mitts, and that'll give him that half of the Dark World access at least. So with the Titan Mitts, it actually gives them 2 war points here. So it's going to give them Village of Outcasts, where they have Skullwoods, Thieves Town, the South Dark World route. It also gives them Dark World Death Mountain now as well.
And with the hookshot, that's another 6 chest. And they can also scout the medallion needed for Turtle Rock. So I think that's a decent play to get that scout in early, at least know what you're looking for. The chests are pretty fast and they're pretty condensed, so it doesn't take too long either.
Right, I wouldn't mind the play at all. Like, anytime you can get early information on what's required for Go mode is always really nice, especially this early on with Titan Mitts 22 minutes in.
So we'll get to see here after they pick up their mitts where they decide to go. As far as Light World is concerned, both runners still have Sasrahala's hut and Eastern Palace on the table, and Zora himself. The rest of the stuff would technically be a sequence break at this point. But I assume they're just gonna go straight to Dark World and like not even check that stuff.
Yeah, Axe gonna check King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks by the looks of it first. I'd imagine TGH will follow suit.
Yeah, so just to clarify for the chat, what we were talking about earlier, even though Titan's Mitts only gives access to the western half of Dark World, there is a glitch that can be done with the boots that allows you to walk on water. And with that glitch, which both players know how to do, because I've seen them both do it. With that glitch, they can cut across the northern area of Dark World, and near where the witch's hut would be in Light World, they can just jump into the water and just cut across there. So even though they don't have flippers, they could still access that, making the only way that Aghanim is required at this point would be if Fat Fairy herself has the hammer. If she has the hammer, then you need to be Aghanim so you can ferry the bomb across the water, even though there is also a convoluted way to get the bomb across without beating Aghanim. I don't think the players would do that because it takes a lot of time investment, and one mistake can cost you minutes. So I expect them, if they have to go to East Dark World, to use the water walking glitch. But if they still don't find the hammer, then Aghanim can be required.
Will be interesting to see if that's in play. Both runners actually electing to go to Skull Woods here. They're literally doing exactly what the other racer's doing. It's Gem Jurdo all over again.
I feel like After that one weekly like 3 months ago where Christos beat everybody by like 10 minutes. Because he just checked Skullwoods earlier or something. And then like everybody's jumped on the early Skullwoods play. Like I feel like most tournament races, like once they get Dark World access, they check Skullwoods. I don't know if you've been seeing something similar from the runners.
No, absolutely. It's been a big priority.
Heck, not finding anything so far. I don't think TGH realized he got the big key because he didn't check the big chest. It's always nice when that Gibdo gets stuck on the corner. Makes that room so much easier.
Yeah, they can of course predict the movements because with their own. But Ack actually electing to use the Fire Rod to get rid of the Gibdos there because they're giving him a little bit of trouble. Oh no. So, welcome to what happens when the statue is too far on either side of the railing. The statue actually gets stuck and he has to pull and push for like a couple more seconds to free it.
Okay, TGH going straight to Mothula. 3 hearts, no half magic master sword.
No big deal.
No big deal whatsoever. Ack looks like he's following suit, although he's much more healthier than TGH, so it's nowhere near as scary for him. Especially with Blue Mail, like the Gibdos only do 1 heart of damage. Usually it's like the Gibdos chaining into each other that like really shreds your life in this dungeon. TGH is getting through scot-free.
Chad actually pointing out they both our runners actually do still have their fairy as well, so it is quite a safe fight. I don't think he's gonna need it though, eh?
Not even slightly.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we see similar from Ack. These are 2 very talented runners we have tonight.
Mothula trolling Ack a little bit. Just hovering in the corner, making it harder for him to do damage. If you bounce Mothula into the spikes, it overrides the damage that your sword does. And unfortunately, the damage the spikes do is 0.
Yeah, he's being really trolly here. Like, he's just hanging on the spikes.
There
we go, gets him.
TGH electing to just run back to Dark World rather than run through Skullwoods a second time. Not exactly sure which is faster. Seems faster though.
I think it's faster by like seconds. Because you gotta go through like 3 different portions, or 2 different portions of Skull, essentially, to get back. Alright, so it looks like TGH is going to elect to do Village of Outcasts now. He'll check the 3 items that are in and around Thieves Town, and then probably will dip into Thieves Town itself.
Yeah, so I'm not in total agreement with the Thieves Town hype in V26, but when it's a crystal, you can't really deny the value. You kind of just have to go in hammer, no hammer, life, no life, sword, no sword. Whatever you have. I feel like you can't walk past Crystal Thieves Town. How do you feel about this?
Totally agree. I mean, even if you didn't have a weapon, we get teased with the ether here in the C-shaped house. Even without a weapon, you can at least check the first 4 chests pretty safely, and even set up a death warp if you didn't have mirror, just to check the rest of maybe South Thread afterwards.
So both players getting their first crystal, no, second crystal run, sorry, just shy of the 30-minute mark. Not making bad progress at all. They are missing a handful of items still, though. TGH looks lost. What? he just dashed up and down in place like 5 times for no reason. Not sure what was happening there.
Yes, TGH trolling himself there.
But yeah, they're missing the bow, the ice rod, the cane, the mirror, the flippers, the hammer, and then potentially a medallion. So still a lot of items to go in this seed here, even with the early boots and mitts.
So I do believe there's a 2/3 chance right now of an item being in Big Key chest. I didn't see if we got Compass or not, but I know we definitely got the map in Big Key. And that's going to mean Small Key will be at Blind Cell.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Ack checking out the shovel game now, electing to actually skip out of Thieves Town just yet, and actually digs up Bombos. So that opens up a sequence broken ice if he chooses to go there.
It also makes it very likely that they had the medallion necessary for Turtle Rock. Though there's definitely been plenty of races where the runners have 2 of the 3 medallions, assume they have Turtle Rock access, and then go and realize it's the 3rd one. So there's the flippers. So it's no longer a sequence broken ice.
Oh, in chat pointing out that they do indeed have the fire rod, so there's the first Solski Dum of the night. Yes, indeed, you could get Ice Palace access with the fire rod.
But is it as flashy though?
It's not.
Ask because that's the thing. Swagnet in the hype cave, a little bit of love, a little bit of money, some extra big terrorist bag. All right, so not very hype in that hype cave.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I think I saw a chat earlier calling it the gripe cave. So Ack's gonna just head on back to Thieves Town. With the flippers. That means this has a 50-50 chance of having the compass, right?
Indeed it does.
Poor blind.
And it looks like Ack's going to elect to go into Thieves now. Oh, and he gets the 4th item. Okay. Oh, chat saying compass was already found.
Alright, so then we can just double check on Ack's screen right now. So this is the chest that we weren't sure of. Yep, there it is. So
alright, so yeah, big chest will have an item.
So far today, I've heard that chest had the Cane of Samaria in Cransoon's race and the Fire Rod in someone else's race. And both those races, they did not have access to the hammer the first time in Thieves. So, will this be the 3rd Thieves Town Big Chest troll of the week? Of the day? Tune in next time.
In the 3-way race, it had the Fire Rod as well. I don't know if that was one of them that you were talking about, but yeah. It's been pretty trolly lately.
If someone didn't really know much about the percentages and just watched races today, they would be like, yeah, don't ever skip that chest. Oh, World Tour time. Froggy's going on an adventure.
Alright, and while TGH is taking the frog out for a walk, meanwhile we have Ack going through the Hell Room in Thieves Town actually giving him a little bit of trouble right now.
Yeah, that's one of those rooms in the game that, like, when it goes bad, it just keeps going bad. It's like one thing always knocks you into another, and you can't get your footing again.
It's very, very RNG dependent. Like, it can really mess up your day if, like, you have one enemy just get in the wrong place.
TGH is like, hey, frog buddy, let me show you this cool cave. There's a bunch of treasure in here. And the frog is like, yeah, for real? Show me.
And then he sees the net.
And he just scoffs.
He's like,
just
bro,
laughs.
what is this?
Hey, you're supposed to be the hero of time? This is your cave? Tej electing to not go all the way up to Catfish. He could have swam across, checked the pyramid, checked the Catfish, and then saved and quit with the frog.
Also, just to point out for chat, with the flippers found, Aghanim is now 100% not required. Within logic. Yo, he's taking the Smith for a swim.
Grandpa got a great brushstroke. He's just he's like, look at me, I can keep up with you, young. I'm not even using my arms. He's just walking in the water.
Alright, so is he swimming or is he like tied with a rope?
He's like vertically just like pushing himself with his legs.
Oh, the hammer!
Okay, now Aghanim's 100% not required. I was gonna say if the Pyramid Fairy had the hammer, Aghanim could still be required. But yeah, definitely not anymore.
I mean, they still could have swam over the bomb though, right? Through North Route, but
No,
like you said, it's
the
like
bomb
really
doesn't
time-consuming.
jump off ledges.
Oh
with
wait,
you.
you're right.
What you have to do is
Whoops.
you have to jump off, and then you have to like change screens as the bomb is exploding. So you have to do the like big bomb glitch as well as the other glitches to get it across.
You're right.
And it's like you mess up that glitch once. Nice red boomerang. The
All
Smith
right.
is like, I don't live over here, dude. Where are we going?
And a nice fight by Ack here in Thieves Town, getting his third crystal, sorry. This is a fast seed, yeah. 37 minutes in, 3 crystals, wow.
This old man is like, you have legendary boots, and I can keep up with you, dude. Are you really gonna save us? Look at him just run across Zora's domain. Why do we call the red guard Usain Bolt? That should be Papa Smithy's name over here. Zora giving you a poor return on your investment. There's the third medallion.
Oh, that's a good scout.
So we know where Quake is. Where's Zach gonna go next? Oh, he's gonna go Darkwell Death Mountain.
So he definitely want to come up here with the hammer because he would have had hair options as well. But, I mean, this is the next best player for him right now.
Hera also happens to be a pendant, so it might not be too high on his priority list. He might just be more concerned with the Turtle Rock Scout and the Hookshot Cave chests right now.
Yeah, he's definitely going to run into 6 chests here awfully quickly, plus that critical scout. Although they do have 2 of the medallions, and now he knows where Quake is, so he just wants to know if that cape's going to be required.
A nice arrow, Smith. He was so disappointed in the World Tour and your demonstration of skill and your ability to save Hyrule. He was like, I'm not even helping you. Here's a single arrow. Thank you for saving my life. Get out.
He literally picked it up on the way.
Yeah, it was a drop in one of the bushes, that you dashed through, and he was just like, I'll save this for later. Give it to this kid as a thank you. Link feels so gypped.
Alright, so as Akka makes his way through Super Bunny Cave on the way to Hookshot Cave, Tej is hot on his heels making a similar play, except he's going to be able to spawn right on Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and it's always faster to climb Death Mountain through the route that Tej is using right now.
Oh, there's the right cane. I think early T-Rock's going to be a big thing this race.
Well, Ack doesn't even have that option because he doesn't have the hammer.
Oh, you're
So-
right. Oh no.
And Tej looks like he's gonna check the Ether tablet, maybe even consider dipping into Hera before going Dark World.
I think it'll dip in the hair for sure. It's a quick check. And he gets the cape too. So if Quake's a thing, then he's going to have an advantage there just knowing where the cape is.
Well, TGH has the cape, and Ack has the Quake knowledge. I don't think TGH ever went over to Bumper Cave. So they
Whoops.
if Turtle Rock is Quake, they both have half the puzzle. They need to combine their powers.
That's Soulski Dumb number 2. Yeah, he definitely knows where the cape is because he does have it. Alright, and Teach just noped out of Hera too.
I think it must have been basement required. He was just like, not worth my time. It was the map in the first room, so he didn't get an item. TGH missing Sparrow Cave? Or is he gonna climb Death Mountain in the Dark World? As opposed to using the T-Rock portal?
Would have just dropped down. He had to have forgotten it.
That could be. Nice stop. he just stared at the pit.
I was like hoping that chest was open, and he just realized right as he got to the pit, oh wait. Alright, meanwhile, Ack going into the waterfall cave, he's gonna get his red boomerang in his heart container. And he's gonna get disappointed by Zora's 300 rupee trade-off.
Yeah, Zora's about to give him this life lesson in capitalism.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that this seed, actually.
All the vendors in Hyrule are wisening up. They're like, you know what? We're sick and tired of you coming into our houses and breaking our pots. We're gonna make our money back on you, kid. And they did. They caught him.
It's an oligopoly.
Hack doesn't even want the money. He's like, I'm done with you. So I think Ack might finally do his flippers check here and find his hammer. It seems to be a recurring theme that races I commentate the runners never go to Saucer Hollow's hut.
Alright, so we do see on TGH's screen that T-Rock is Ether. Do you think TGH is gonna dip in here?
What else does he have available? He has Ice Palace, beatable, but it's a pendant. And he has Bowless Eastern and Pod.
I think he's going in.
He might go in. Those other options do not sound too oh no, he's going for the Spike Cave play instead.
Debated.
TGH really does like to rely on his execution, so it's understandable. Like, he doesn't feel like he needs to gamble anything at the moment right now. He can just keep doing easy checks that are in his way and not do anything that could actually set him behind of his own free will. He likes for the other racer to beat him, not for him to beat himself. Like, he'd be okay with Ack making that play and guessing right, but not him making the play and guessing wrong. Ack's going the wrong way.
Nice thinking, actually. I think he's gonna end up doing Spike Cave now while he's up here.
I think it was initially the wrong way, and then he was like, I might as well just go up and do this then. Because he definitely doubled back down the ladder. He was like, oh, whoops. And then he was like, you know what? I'm actually subconsciously really smart at this game, so I'm gonna follow my gut.
I do believe TGH is gonna make the Ice Palace play now.
Unfortunately, his gut is just leading him to be in a bottle. And he died. But he has Fairy in a bottle, which he's gonna use for the invincibility. Even though the Fairy animation is slower than other invul items, the invincibility you get from the fairies lasts so long that it trivializes Spike Cave, basically. So I know TGH is a big fan of Ice Palace. It's also fully beatable for him now. So let's see if...
I mean, I find it interesting that he bounced on Hera, but he's staying in. He's going for ice, which is also a pendant. Meanwhile, just showing that push animation glitch, which was pretty swag. And Ack is going back to Darkworld Death Mountain by the looks of it. I think he's gonna dip into T-Rock.
This is also the only way Ack can get to Hera, so he's definitely picking one of these dungeons. We'll see which one he chooses.
Go to T-Rock.
It's your destiny, Ack.
You must go. Aw. Yeah, he's going to Hera.
I mean, doing Hera doesn't put T-Rock off the table. And doing T-Rock puts Hera off the table if he doesn't find the mirror. So he might still go to T-Rock after. So we'll see here. But these runners are still missing a decent chunk of items. The bow, the ice rod, and the mirror. So, they could really be anywhere, these items.
Yeah, the ice rod being that big item that is probably scaring our runners away right now from T-Rock, just because you do need it to finish the dungeon. Alright, so Ack's gonna see the map. What does he do from here? He's gonna dip in.
Yep, he's doing it. So we'll get to see what Hera had. TGH is going to bomb jump his way across this Ice Palace room here. I need to learn that bomb jump. Saves a decent chunk of time. It seems like a pretty easy lineup because he bonks into the wall every time to line it up. So both our runners exploring separate pendant dungeons, both looking for the Promised Land right now. Promised Land being... I would say the Ice Rod is the Promised Land right now, because if you get the Ice Rod, it lets you do T-Rock freely. You don't have to worry about anything. There's a lot of items in Turtle Rock, which most likely will lead to something else. But if you find the bow, that leads you to Pod Eastern, which is also another big chunk of items. So, I'm not sure. All three of our remaining items can also be on the pedestal.
Indeed they can. I think Ack would be ecstatic if he was to find Ice Rod up in here, actually, because T-Rock will be so close to where he finds it. So he has like that really easy option just to go over. Whereas if you're like near other crystal dungeons, you might put it off longer just because to save on travel.
TGH finds a heart piece. He has the big key, so he can just check the big chest on his way down right now.
Alright, we get a mushroom from Acktheboker's side here in the, I believe, compass chest? I always mix it up in Hera.
Yeah, I actually don't remember which one is on the first floor. I would assume it's the compass, because the compass is usually the later item in the dungeon. They give you the map from the start.
Tej actually lost quite a bit of magic there by that anti-fairy.
They don't have any potions either, right? It was a fairy and a bee.
No, and I do believe that's the third item in ice, and yeah, TGH is going to saving quit.
So nothing for TGH. Let's see if Axe dungeon pays off.
Oh, it's the flute! That's massive for him right now.
Okay, so the flute, as far as crystals are concerned, is not technically required this seed. But if there is one of the three items that they need in the mire area, then they do need the flute from Moldorm to go get it. Ack might go into Turtle Rock anyway.
Oh, please.
Tej visiting our boy Sasha. He's like, yo, how you been, fam? I haven't seen you in weeks. Another bee in a bottle, a red rupee, and a piece of heart. So both players were rightfully so put off the. Is that dead?
Oh, do you see that dead rock just having its way with Ack there?
That's against the law of dead rock. You can't push people up against the wall and just rough them up like that. It's assault. Okay.
Dude, he was stuck for like 4 hits.
They just bullied him. They took his lunch money. They're like, everybody's just picking on Link this seed.
So, interesting enough, I think the only item that would probably, for me personally, steer me away from T-Rock would have been that flute. So, honestly, props to Ack for this. I would say gamble at this point.
Yeah,
Because, like you said, it's not so much that it's required because Mire is a pendant, but if, say, something as free as Mire Shed has progression, then that's going to be big.
Yeah, even if you decide not to enter Mire, that's still 3 items that take essentially, what, 20 seconds to get?
Yeah, it doesn't take very long at all. But you can't blame him either for going into T-Rock just because he's already here, so travel-wise, he doesn't really want to make a 3rd trip unless he has to.
Both these runners are... So first they were both in pendant dungeons exploring, now they're both in crystal dungeons exploring, but they're in separate dungeons still. It's pretty interesting the priorities that the runners have right now.
Indeed it is. I wonder if TGH is going to dip into Pod next now, if he does not find anything here in Eastern. Just because he's already here and it's a quick, pretty much warp to Dark World. Travel-wise, dashing.
That might have been why he routed it this way. Because no mirror, so he can't come from Dark World.
Right, and he doesn't have the flute yet, which Ack just found in Hera at Trolldorm, so definitely weighing on his mind how to travel effectively for sure.
Wow. That was kind of weird. Ack threw the block north, but it flew west for some reason. Like, even though Link was facing up, just threw it to the right. Well, unfortunately, Armos does have an item, so nothing there for TGH. He's going to save and quit out of Eastern.
And so he looks knocked to Death Warp, and he's just going to continue on his way. Let's see where he goes from here. He might be going for hammer pegs. Do you think he's going to go for the Thieves' Big Chest?
It wouldn't surprise me, especially if he watched any of the races earlier today. Sometimes, the thing with Randomizer is sometimes... That's a cool bunny sprite.
Oh, I think he's going for a pedestal check. Because he has the Titan Mitt, so he would have been able to grab the Quick Warp here.
This could be huge. Because like we said, all 3 of the remaining items can be here. Here we go. It's...
No.
Increased bomb storage at a low price.
Lame.
Although I would argue that Pendant Mire is a pretty high price for some bomb storage.
I mean, it's still Green Pendant Mire, so you do get the 3rd item from it as well. So it's basically Ice Palace, except maybe a little bit quicker. With if they had like Bow and Silvers or a better sword.
So it looks like he could be doing either Thieves Town Big Chest here or just doing the hammer pegs in the purple chest.
Oh, and Acktheboker finding the bow in the big chest in T-Rock.
That's huge.
That is huge. So flute and bow in hand now. Bow not technically required, but it's going to add on to his travel here. And the bow is definitely the big story.
Interesting that TGH is picking up Quake, even though he knows what Turtle Rock Medallion is. Maybe he foresees having to head over to Mire in the very near future, even though he doesn't even have a flute. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, maybe he's just preparing for the worst. I mean, he doesn't know if he has to go into Mire yet, right?
So I would imagine that might be weighing on his mind. He might as well get it now than later.
Yeah, for sure. He's probably like, I'm never coming back here. So if I don't get it now and then I need it, it's just a big time loss.
Right, and it's not that, from where he is now, it's not that much time committed to getting that item. So Axe gonna check laser skip here. He still doesn't have the ice rod. Let's see if it's here.
One of these is a key for sure.
Oh, the mirror.
Okay, so Ack has found 2 of the key items that he needs. He found the bow and he found the mirror. Unfortunately, the last one he's missing now for go mode is Ice Rod, which he needs to beat this dungeon. So, if the Ice Rod is mirror or bow locked, Ack is way ahead right now.
I mean,
If
that's
the Ice Rod is in Mire, there is still potential that TGH will only have to single dip Turtle Rock.
right. I think that's what it might come down to, just for the sake of, okay, well, I got that ice rod. I'm definitely going to T-Rock now, and then that would put him in go mode.
Yeah,
Ack actually checking the mimics now. I guess he did skip it earlier.
that's so smart. Too bad it's not the Ice Rod. Ack has been making some really good plays so far this race. Tej is looking like he's going to check Pyramid and might go into Pod after that.
Which might or might not work out for him, depending on how the keys work out in Pod. It might actually end up boat locking him immediately.
I believe that was just a bottle on the Pyramid ledge. Ack is going to go ahead and call his duck friend over. Save him from his imprisonment. So with the mirror, I think the Mire shed check is pretty quick. It's probably where Ack will go before he overcommits to anything. Also gonna check that pedestal though, just in case. Because all 3 pendants are beatable for Ack now. So he wants to make sure that he's not overlooking anything. That thief is such a bully. And TGH is not bow locked, so he'll get to continue searching here.
Right, so if TGH actually does find the ice rod here, that would actually be huge for him. Mind you, if it's here, Ack's already going to have the bow and mirror in tow, and he will be in go mode.
Okay, so TGH has one more chest that he can check that could be holding the bow. None of the other chests in this dungeon can hold the bow. Just because of the way the logic is set up to make sure you don't keylock yourself. And he now knows Pod is bow locked. So even though he has keys and he could go to the back, he knows he's not supposed to have any of that stuff without the bow. So he's gonna just peace out. Is he gonna go for the Turtle Rock play now?
I was about to ask, what does he do? Does he go now and finish Hera, or does he go for T-Rock?
It's a tough call, because you feel like you've already wasted some time with that Ice Palace play. That didn't give you anything. You know you are double dipping Pod now, which is another waste of time. You're double dipping Eastern. So, you know, he might feel the stress. He might want to just go straight to T-Rock and not Hera, even though Hera is the quicker dungeon.
Oh, he's gonna go to Hera first too. So what if he goes to Hera, finds that flute, and then just goes right to Meyer? Oh. I mean, if he finds Ice Rod there, then that's good, but like he has to run into that soon, I would imagine.
He's also checked the pedestal already, so he knows, you know, the pendants themselves are not as important. Well, even though green pendant does give you an extra item. It'll be interesting to see if he prioritizes the pendant dungeon after getting the flute, or if he just goes straight into the gamble for Turtle Rock. TGH is setting up a death warp. Ack is going to go ahead and clear all of Eastern Palace. This is his first trip there, so he doesn't know that it's just a bunch of junk. Although we don't know what Armos has.
I was about to say, we do have one more item left at Armos, so that could be huge. On top of that, Ack's going to have the advantage of the Mirror Warp right to Pod.
TGH remembering that he had a fairy in a bottle. He's like, let me release this real quick.
Yeah, that would have been unfortunate if he forgot.
Would have only been like the 9th time that that's happened this tournament. No big deal. Axe making his way to his Eastern Palace compass. Every time I have to go to the Vanilla Big Key location in Eastern for a 50-50, I just think, would ACM do this? And the answer is always no, but then I still do it. I'm not brave enough.
Not brave enough.
Nice damage boost by Ack. That's almost perfect.
It was very nice.
Whoops. Ack shooting that arrow just slightly too early there. Kind of getting bullied by some Igors.
Hey, it does a great job of evading the second one though there. Alright, so TGH is going to pick up his flute from Moldorm here. Meanwhile, Ack is on his way to Armos to see a third unrevealed item so far.
So Ack is only missing the Ice Rod right now. TGH is still missing the bow, the mirror, and the Ice Rod, which we know the bow and the mirror are in Turtle Rock.
Oh, and TGH electing to not check T-Rock now, and is probably going to cash in his flute and head to Meyer area. So for those of you just joining us, the bow and the mirror are both in T-Rock.
So Ack didn't check the Meyer area at all, right?
No, he didn't. He went right to T-Rock, and then he followed the bow and went to Eastern Pod.
So there's a chance that the Ice Rod is just in the overworld section of Meyer. I think it kind of needs to be inside of Meyer to give TGH a better chance. I feel like he's significantly behind right now, having to double dip. What is it, 3 dungeons already? Hera, Eastern, and Pod. And he full cleared ice, and Ack didn't even touch it. So I think, like, if it's right here... Okay, it wasn't. If it's right there, I think Ack checks that before Swamp. And then just keeps his lead. not even going to check checkerboard. He's just going to go straight in. TGH
Right.
going for the ultimate gamble here.
Yes, he is. And there's also the extra value against TGH is Fat Fairy being pod, and Desert Ack will have that extra check against TGH having the bow. So there's a lot going against TGH right now. He has to run into the Ice Rod soon, and that will give him that clue to go up to T-Rock.
Yep, and we do know that the Ice Rod is not in T-Rock, so Ack is going to have to double dip T-Rock, which is the only semi-advantage TGH has at the moment. But Ack is clearing these crystal dungeons, working on his 5th crystal right now. So,
Right.
While TGH is just sitting at 3, and it's going to be at 3 until he goes to T-Rock or finds the Ice Rod.
So question for you, if Ack does not find the Ice Rod here in pod, and we do see a shovel in Ack's side and the powder in TGH's side, where do you think Ack goes next?
Ack seems to have been prioritizing dungeons this run, so I would think he would do like a quick, just really quick Mire overworld check and then fly straight to Swamp. Maybe do Fat Fairy before heading into Swamp, since he will have the necessary crystals for that. But yeah, I don't see him like diverging. I don't see him going around checking Catfish, checking a bunch of overworld stuff like that. I think he'll do that stuff if he gets forced into it, not as a go-to right after. Nice Bloomerang. TGH is finding the Mire Big Key.
Finds it early too.
And Ack finds the Pod Big Key. After the very beginning of the seed, like the first 35 minutes where it felt like the players were in the same place the whole time, they haven't been in the same place since.
Right, it has really broken up, you're right. Like they were literally on top of each other for the first 35-40 minutes, and now it's just every other dungeon they're doing. It's pretty fun to watch, actually.
Nothing but the map and the big chest there.
Mirror
the
Shield
Riot Shield.
and Blue Cane and the big chest and pod.
So no Ice Rod in Mire. It could have still been at the Green Pendant or at Checkerboard Cave, which were both loot locked. TGH foregoing those options for now.
Yeah, it was interesting that he didn't elect to check the checkerboard when he was already there.
Yeah, you know, sometimes when players do stuff like in a different order, they lose track of what they have and what they haven't done, because usually you couple the checkerboard with the mirror over the desert to beat that, but since the players beat the desert palace earlier in the seed, you know, it might just not be in their muscle memory. So
Right.
head on up there.
And very wisely, TGH actually electing to cash in the powder to maximize his gamble.
Chat reminding us that he doesn't have mirror to check checkerboard. That's Ack. Sorry, chat.
I've done it again.
I think I started that one. I started that one.
one.
I mentioned it before he went into Mire, so that one's on me. I'll take the blame for that one. Yeah, just getting a little confused on who has which options. Chat, don't have our heads for that.
All right, it looks like TGH making the play he needs to make, which is he's heading towards T-Rock.
What if Sahasrahala has the Ice Rod all along? What if? Ack with a very, very fast Homosaur fight. He got 2 patterns where Homosaur walks south, so that makes it really quick. And then 1 silver arrow to the gem, and it's a very, very, very fast fight for Acktheboker. His boss fights have been on point this run so far.
Just to point out too, Ack has what 5 crystals completed now, versus TGH's 3. So that's also quite an advantage right now, considering TGH still has to go all the way to Laser Bridge for the mirror.
Yeah, so I assume Ack hasn't checked the overworld mirror spots like the Haunted Grove Harpies and the... Actually, I think I saw him heading towards Graveyard Ledge. I don't remember if he checked it or if that was TGH running through there. But, you know, the Ice Rod can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be in his crystal dominating path that he has going on over here. So it does look like he's heading straight to Swamp, which is his next beatable crystal. So if the Ice Rod is not in Swamp, then, you know, the whole world is open to Ack. And if he just fails to pick where the Ice Rod actually is, TGH can get some time back. So TGH is going to make his way through Turtle Rock here. The bow is in the big chest, and the mirror is on the laser bridge.
Right, and a little surprised he didn't elect to check out the Fat Fairy first before going into Swamp, but you never know. I mean, it is V26 playing to that logic of go to the dungeons first and get the value. And it hasn't really steered them wrong yet.
Yeah, he didn't even do a Bombos tablet, which is right outside. I've seen so many races determined by like a runner that just checks the overworld right outside of Swamp and finds their go mode, and then they get to go mode Swamp. Whereas the other runners look for it in Swamp. So that's definitely a possibility. It could just be in Bombos tablet, like right outside. We know it's not an Ether tablet because TGH guys cape from there. Nice fireball block.
That was nice. So yeah, I think you're right. It is both mirror spots, checkerboard, Fat Fairy. I want to say hammer pegs as well of overworld that's left, and the Bombos tablet.
I don't think either player did a purple chest either.
Right, because neither of them would have had the mirror at the time. And we do have the Thievestown Big Chest troll still alive.
That's a scary one. Although I feel
Literally
like TGH
the
went back
worst.
to that when we were after he checked the pedestal. But maybe that was a different race. It's too much rando today. It starts to jumble up.
There has been a lot of rando this week, with the condensed schedule of the Swiss tournament in its final round currently.
Yeah, and we know that it's not an ice palace, but if Ack continues his dungeon hunting, he might go to Ice Palace because he hasn't cleared that. He might go to Misery Mire because he hasn't cleared that. So if he dives into those dungeons straight away and the Ice Rod is somewhere in the overworld, that could give TGH a chance to catch up.
And we see the frustration slashes from TGH finding that bow.
Two more chests from Ack here. 50 rupees and a map. I don't think he went left side. I think he went straight to the back.
Yeah,
Hoping
he
for a
did,
big
and he's
game.
skipping left side currently. It'll be interesting to see if he goes back for left.
I don't think there's any way you skip, especially now knowing that there's 2 items, because he just found the map and the compass back to back.
Yeah, I think he goes back now.
No, Ack checked Mimic Cave when he found his mirror, so we know there's nothing in Mimic Cave either. Whether TGH decides to check it after finding his mirror now, We'll see in just a second. Master Sword Argus is
Pretty rough.
Andy Bleh, to say the least.
All right, TGH actually doing the exact same play. Very intelligent play by both our runners, remembering that the mirror is going to take him right out to Mimic Cave.
Axe going for this sniper arrow on Argus and gets it. Is that Link or is that Hawkeye? Nice tempered sword. Good troll, Argus. So we're officially done with the low percent strats. Yeah, unfortunately, if you come out the door hammer dashing, you go too far and you touch the portal. Axe doubling back now for left side. TGH is gonna get his crystals. We know the ice rod is not in either of these dungeons, though.
Right, but we know with the bow in hand now, he's definitely going to prioritize going back to them.
Yeah, and also, even if you, like, find the ice rod, like, finding the ice rod and having to beat 6 crystals doesn't, like, necessarily put you any closer to winning. Especially if those dungeons are dungeons like Palace of Darkness, Eastern Palace, Misery Mire, where you generally have to beat the whole dungeon anyway. So, makes sense to just get the crystals out of the way nice and early. And if you find the item, great, and if you don't, then you start your hunt.
So do you think Ice Rod's going to be here in left side of Swamp?
I'm hoping it's not, because I want a close race, but it could be. Like, I think,
I mean, at this point, I think to keep the race incredibly close, it would have to come down to that Thieves' Big Chest and who checks it first.
Could also be Green Pendant, I think.
That as well, yeah. But that would weigh more in Axe's favor, I would imagine, since Teach has already gone to Mire.
Yeah. It's always interesting to see when runners decide to cut their losses. I always feel like it's like I'm the type of runner where it's like if I gamble something, that's the last place I'm going. If I skip Harrow Basement, I'm 100%ing the game before I go back to Harrow Basement. But some runners are like, I'm not gonna start doing pendant dungeons.
Oh, he gets his Butter Sword on the left side though, so that's it. Not in Ice, or not in Swamp, sorry. We know it's not nice, because TGH has been there.
2 sword upgrades in Swamp is nice though. He's gonna check Bombo's tablet here. Went from low percent to 100% strats here, real quick. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else that that would improve. That's a nice color on the Christmas skin for the red.
I was gonna say, I hope you like fuchsia.
That's pretty cool. Might use that spray a little more.
All right, so Axe going to check Mire, and as chat's pointed out before, TGH did not have the mirror when he checked this, so Axe is going to have the advantage of Checkerboard Cave.
All right. Here's a spot that we haven't yet seen. Let's see if the ice rod is here. This is one of, what, like 4 remaining places it could be? And the answer is no. Are we missing anything? Thieves' Big Chest, Green Pendant, Pyramid Fairy.
Hammer pegs, purple chest, and
pegs, purple
graveyard
chest.
ledge.
Graveyard ledge. So 6 locations.
Right.
Ack turning in his mushroom. Oh, Ack has a shovel too.
Oh yes, that's right.
7.
From Pod, and TGH actually has that shovel now too. So we haven't seen that. So that's 7 locations.
And Ack looks like he's going to Pyramid Fairy here. This is the most likely place, I would think. So this is where I would go if I was in Ack's position. Before doing Pendant Ice, before doing Pendant Mire, I would get, because he hasn't checked the Pyramid or Catfish either. So he gets 4 checks out of this. It's really fast.
I would actually consider gambling here, just because at this point you're down to so few checks. You're like, oh god, I gotta think of something that might put me ahead of my competitor.
Well, he's not down to a few checks. We as the commentators are down. Like he still has Ice. He still has a ton of Overworld.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
He still has like Ice, Mire, all of the Overworld that he's about to check right now. Yeah. So he still is. He's probably not even thinking about like Thieves Town Big Chest yet, or anything like that.
I'd probably
so many places.
I'd probably say the soft gamble to Ice then at that point.
Yeah, I think either this sequence that he's doing right now or Ice Palace are probably the 2 like biggest plays for him. And it's not on the Pyramid, which we knew because TGH checked that. But is it inside? Here we go. Chest number 1. Moms. Chest number 2. Red Rupee. So we're down to a handful of checks. And I'm not talking about the Rando Runner.
I understood that reference.
Glad somebody got it.
Shoutouts to Chex Human if he's here.
Is he heading down to Ice Palace? No.
I'm not sure where he's heading right now, actually.
I think he's doing the mirror locations now.
He is, and he's going to check out Shovel on the way to...
That's good routing right there. You guys wonder what people talk about when they say, oh, I had good routing. This is it right here. Getting all these odds and ends places in one nice long sequence. That's
it is. Yeah, very, very nice routing here.
Nothing in there. He wants to keep his Dark World portal. Does he remember he has a shovel? He does. Yeah. Because he probably wants to pick up the purple chest here as well.
There it is.
That's go mode. So the shovel from Pod, was it?
Yes, it was.
Means Ice Rod was bow locked, which means Turtle Rock was a mandatory double dip. But we have go mode, ladies and gentlemen. Ack just has to go kill Trinex, and he will have his 7th crystal without having touched Misery Mire or Ice Palace, which TGH fully cleared both of them.
Right, for this to be really close, TGH is going to have to immediately go for that shovel.
Yeah, let's see what he does here.
He might, because he did the same with the powder from Mire, so I think he might check that shovel right away. Oh, he's going here. Where's he going to go?
Yeah, but realistically speaking, even if TGH does go straight to Ice Rod, he's still a whole Swamp Palace behind. So, at best, he's 5 minutes behind right now.
Right.
Ack has to throw him some deaths. But this is actually he'll actually get it here. I think if he's gonna route the way I think he's gonna route, he's gonna do this, pick up the purple chest, walk south, do the mirror and the shovel, find it, and then he'll be in go mode.
Right, and we know he's gonna at least get Tempered Sword from Argus too. So equipment-wise, won't really put him behind. But it's just the sheer length where Ack is right now, with just T-Rock to complete, and he already has like all of T-Rock completed. He has to go right to Trinex.
That's actually crazy that it's only an hour and 24 into this. I just looked at the time.
It's just shout outs to how good our runners are here.
20-minute boots. That'll do it. Then miss the good old days.
The good old days.
All right, and TGH about to enter Go mode as well. So yeah, this is gonna be I think close. Just because G Tower routing could have a big play in the time as well.
Yeah,
like he won't gain complete time over Ack, but he'll at least get close.
Yeah, Ack. Oh, I was gonna say he forgot the purple chest, but it doesn't matter. He's in Go mode. He doesn't need the purple chest.
Ack, please go back. You forgot your lunch.
You mean Tej?
You said Ack didn't do the purple chest.
Did I?
Yeah, you did. That's why I was following.
Oh. Sorry.
Because you're like, oh, you forgot the purple chest, but he's in Go mode. They're both in Go mode.
Well, anyway. Yeah, Ack is about to enter this Trinex fight with a gold sword. He's gonna make quick work of this three-headed rock monster. TGH entering Swamp now. And it is Go mode Swamp, so it's only like 3-ish minutes, although the Argus fight will make it a little longer because it's Master Sword. And that was just straight destruction. It's almost a 0 cycle. I think like 30 frames faster would have been a 0 cycle.
I think you can still get the 0 cycle from the front, but you have to be like frame perfect with it.
Yeah. So Ack having Red Mail from Bombo's tablet and Butter Sword from Left Side Swamp is not gonna have a single issue, I don't think, with Ganon's Tower.
No, so... and with Ack picking up his 7th crystal, you know what that means, guys.
It's time to guess where in Ganon's Tower is the big key. There are 22 locations in Ganon's Tower, each possible of holding the big key. Feel free to guess in the chat a number from between 1 and 22. If you are a sub or if you donate 250 bits, and guess correctly, and are the first person to guess correctly, they actually have a little leaderboard thing going on Speed Gaming. Actually, that's not on this channel, huh? That's on Speed Gaming 1. Never mind that last part. But, you know, I'll still give you my love and my affection for guessing right. I'm gonna guess 21. Because 9 plus 10. How about you, Solsky?
I'm gonna guess 2.
2? Do you want it to be in that first chest style flush room here? Well, if you guess for 1, you're already wrong. Checking the first location on the torch there, it was a heart piece. Shoutouts if you remember that vine of 9 plus 10. If you don't, you might be able to find it somewhere on the internet.
Alright, so I'm out.
It was 4. So I'm going straight left side. TGH starting his Argus fight now. And I really liked Ack's starting route. And I liked Ack's GT route, and let me explain real quick why while they're doing the execution parts of their respective dungeons. The Link's House start to Uncle has become really popular and still has the hula hand start, and for Ganon's Tower, the starting right side, and if you get a key, continuing through the right side has also become really popular. So what happens, like, the reason these become really popular is because either they have a high percentage chance of being good, or they give you some sort of edge that the other person doesn't have. But that only really happens if you're comparing it to the standard route. So if somebody does something that's not the standard and is also different from your route, and they get rewarded for it, or you don't get rewarded for your route, then they automatically gain time on you. And that's so smart. Like going straight to Sanctuary or going straight to Kakariko or going straight left side. It might seem like inconsequential in this race because of the routing choices the runners made and how far behind Siege is. But if this race had been, one Ice Palace closer, Ack would still be in the lead. And I think that's really impressive, to be able to look at kind of quote unquote the meta of what people are doing and come up with strategies to counter that. I think that's super impressive, and it goes to show why Ack is 5-0 at the moment.
And if things keep going his way, he's going to be our second 6-0 here. So, not to commentate or curse him, but he's got quite the edge with TGH still having to do a Turtle Rock here and the G-Tower Ascent.
Yeah, and a beautiful zero cycle there by Ack as he fails to zero cycle the Wizrobes. Bosses, no problem. Regular enemies, too hard. Gets that one though.
I think those are more frustration slashes from Teach. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It can be kind of frustrating when you don't agree with a certain type of decision and you think somebody might get rewarded for that. Because I think, especially for those people that got into Randomizer with the first tournament, kind of that mentality of only going to dungeons that you can complete, that like we saw like ACM and Christos kind of popularize those type of strategies. This seed went against that, so you can feel a little bit helpless if what you think is best is not working for you.
Right, and in the course of this race, it basically came down to one decision, and that was to do T-Rock or not do T-Rock when you were up there. And Ack elected to, and TGH unfortunately elected not to.
Teach actually elected to skip everything up there, unfortunately.
Right.
He dipped into Hera and didn't do that, and then saw the Turtle Rock Medallion and didn't do that. Although, he actually had a little bit of an advantage because his first Dark World Death Mountain, he actually had Hammer. So he could use the T-Rock portal to open it up right away, and Ack didn't. Ack saw the medallion, found the hammer, and then immediately went back.
I think the bigger play for Act 2 was finding that flute and saying nope, and still went to T-Rock. That was really impressive.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have had that kind of discipline.
That's a lot of patience there, not to follow the breadcrumbs, and you still go to the other dungeon. That's really nice routing. We get a pretty nice Aga 2 fight from Ack here, as he is about to head into Ganon proper.
He's getting a 1 cycle on Trinex as well.
With the Tempered Sword. Nice.
Ack landing on the pyramid. Gold Sword is going to make quick work of these first 2 phases of Ganon. And then Silver Arrows should make quick work of the last phase. Ack not even getting hit, just slashing Ganon for the fun of it, because he's been hit the quota on slashes there.
Right, and with Buttersword making very, very quick work of 1 and 2 cycles of Ganon. Meanwhile, TGH making his way over to Ganon's tower now.
First shot. Missed the sword glitch. Oh, be careful. That was really smart of him to not hold towards the stage. That's 2. 1 more. And there it is. 4 hits. Get your GGs in the chat for Acktheboker.
GGs indeed.
Second runner to get 4-0. I mean 6-0, sorry.
Impressive time too of a official SRL time of 1 hour 35 minutes and 20 seconds. Great race by Ack.
Won Ganon's Tower Ascent and Ganon fight ahead of TGH. Let's see if Ack wants to get in here.
And TGH actually electing to go left side as well for his big key. All right, so with that win, Acktheboker actually improves to 6-0 through the Swiss. Very impressive feat. Will join El Magus as the other undefeated participant in the Swiss round. All right, looks like Ack's gonna be joining us very shortly.
Being 6-0 means that they will have 3 racers that finish the Swiss rounds 4 and 2, and 1 racer from the qualifier race on Saturday in each of their groups. Hello, congratulations, GG.
GG, thanks.
That was a great display of routing and execution. How'd you feel, dude?
I felt pretty good up until I couldn't find the hammer for a little while, and then I felt like that was going to be an issue, and then I got a little confused about what to do next, and then I just decided to do the mountain. I was pretty indecisive on that. Then I guess hopping into Turtle Rock was a good thing. It was also a really good thing I never bothered to get that Quake medallion, because I was going into Mire if it was any of the other medallions, but since I didn't pick it up, I was literally checking things along the way to get that Quake medallion to go into Mire, and luckily I found the ice rod on the way.
Oh, right, that's interesting, because you didn't actually have the cape. You knew where Quake was first.
Yeah, I didn't have
before
the cape first.
Way before
Yeah.
TGH did, but you didn't have the cape at the time. When he found it, he had the cape. So
Oh, yeah.
So he did in fact enter Mire, and obviously there was nothing there since you never had to go.
I don't think there was anything required in any pendant dungeon, to be honest.
What was the third one? It was Mire, Ice, and
No, there
Hera.
wasn't.
Yeah. So nope. Very, very rare occasion where only 7 of the 10 dungeons were required. But yeah, dude.
I don't even know. Did you?
How
need
about
to...
that Turtle Rock?
Yeah, I mean, with an opponent as good as TGH, I know I couldn't play too safe. I'd have to take some risk, and Turtle Rock has been a risk that's been paying off lately. I was a little nervous, and then I got the big, I think bow from the big chest, and then the mirror was later. And I think at that point all I needed was the ice rod, and I was good to go. And I was like, oh my god, if this is in here, this is a really interesting race.
Yeah, that actually gave you a massive advantage at that point, because you had both the mirror and bow, and you were checking Eastern in pod full clear, whereas TGH actually was checking it without the equipment. And we do see the hover from TGH.
Oh man.
Casual hover.
Yeah. Get good. That was nice. But yeah, it was definitely that. But I think more impressively, like me and Ben were talking about, was the fact that you got the flute and then you still went to T-Rock. Like that was definitely the game right there.
Yeah, I wanted to go into T-Rock while I was up there, but I didn't have the mirror, and it felt silly leaving Hera on the table, but like I really wanted to go into T-Rock first and foremost, but I was like, I mean, I gotta check what's over here, and that flute, I feel like I don't know the time differences, but I mean, it was killing me the whole race. I was like, this flute has to be required. Like, I need to go into the mire area. There's no way they would just give me a flute for free.
Well, they did, surprisingly to all of us. I think me and Solskjaer were both like, I would have gone to go get my flute. Like, I don't know. But obviously, you're the 6-0 runner here, so you definitely played it correctly there.
Yeah.
I had a question for you. Do you your start at the beginning, starting Sanctuary, going to Lost Woods, then save and quitting, is there a particular idea behind that? Is it just like how you feel at the time?
Just faster.
So you'll always farm the bombs if you don't get a drop? Is that
Farm one bomb, and then you have 3 bombs. Yeah. If I didn't get bombs, I would farm either 1 bomb or 2 bombs. My logic doing that route, you get a bush crab and a tier 1 tree pull on the way. You check, whatever's at Aga. That's kind of like the time sink there, because that's a long ways to check one item. But if I can manage to get 100 rupees, then you save and quit out of inside Blind's Hut, and you save like 4 screen transitions if you do it that way.
nice? Yeah, I had never seen that strat before, so I went on a little bit of a tangent about how you were like really impressive, because that pretty much counters like what everybody else has started to do with like the uncle first. And
Right.
So, like the thing, like if they do that and they don't find something big, like you get like a decent chunk of time on them because you're just powering through to the important stuff right away. So
Yeah.
I thought that was really impressive.
I always have to make sure I do Uncle and Escape, all that. I try to prioritize that just because everyone else's opening does that. And, if I leave something big there for too long, then, they're too far ahead.
Yeah, just for the chat, TGH has finally finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 41 minutes, and 55 seconds. Hell of a race, honestly. 6-minute difference, but he double dipped pod, double dipped Eastern, full cleared ice, and full cleared mire. Except for the
Oh my
bosses.
god.
Except for
I'm
the
gonna
boss.
tell T. She said finally finished. By the way.
That's fine.
Oh no.
Alright,
He'll probably curse me out later anyway.
When he comes in, make sure you guys tell him I did mire and ice and stuff like that. 'Cause I don't want him knowing how good he is.
Oh, he double dipped Hera too, because he went to Hera, saw that it was basement required, and pieced, and then went back and did it.
All right, I'm bringing him in.
I don't even want to say anything. I feel like I got beat.
Yeah.
But I won.
Yo, GG Siege.
Yo, GG Ack.
GG, man.
How you feeling?
No regrets.
I respect that.
Yeah, honestly, I think if you gave me a chance to go into Turtle Rock again, going up Death Mountain early like that, I probably still would have done it. Like, I just don't like that play, but it would have worked out in this situation.
So funny enough, you guys both went up Death Mountain around the same time, but Ack hadn't found his hammer yet, and you had. So we thought you might make the Turtle Rock play after you found the cane and hook.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. Like it crossed my mind for half a second, and I just thought there were so many other places I could check. I thought ice would yield better results than it did, and I thought mire would yield better results than it did when I first went there. Bailing on Hera also hurt a little bit, except not really, because the flute was never really required, I don't think. So
Nope.
But yeah, it was just unfortunate the way it played out. I still feel like I had a decent run.
Oh, for sure, dude. You guys both like killed it. It's just Act just made the. It really was the. At one point, for the first 40 minutes of the game, you guys were in the exact same place at the whole time. Like the first 35 minutes of the game.
Wow.
Like, no divergence at all. It was like literally the same place. Yeah, I think the only one was Ack going to Death Mountain early. That was it.
Yeah.
And then after you guys found flippers, Tej found his hammer, Ack went up the mountain, and then you guys kind of switched. But when Ack went up the mountain the second time after finding his hammer, he went straight into T-Rock. Like he went to Hera and then went straight into T-Rock.
Yeah.
Whereas you decided to do Ice Palace and check the front half of the Bowlock dungeons. So he did Eastern Pod all in one trip, and he didn't touch Ice or Mire. And you did 2 trips for those and did touch dependence. So it's surprising that a V26 seed did not have a single required pendant dungeon, as Ack was pointing out earlier.
Yeah, that's what I was. I've become so used to it.
I don't think you had to double dip anything either. Maybe by the logic you were supposed to double dip Turtle Rock.
Well, T-Rock.
You could have gotten around that, I think.
Well, then you would have double dipped Pod.
No, because the shovel was bow locked.
That's right. Never mind. You would have had to double dip Pod then.
Unless you cover the rail.
Yeah, basically.
In Pod, but yeah.
It's doable.
You couldn't get to the shovel?
The shovel was on the right side. Like it was on the Bowlock chest. Yeah, so you needed the double dip T-Rock according to the logic.
I mean,
That's
you
right.
could have hovered for it too, but
Yeah.
with the Andy or what was it, the Miramong hover.
That's a play that I would never make. Like I would never.
It's really
It's just
obscure. Yeah,
very,
right.
very, very rarely worth it, and it's also risky and difficult.
As someone who can't hover, I appreciate that.
Well, that marks the end of the Swiss stage for both of you. Any thoughts going forward into the group stage from either of you?
This was a win either way for me because win or lose, I knew that TGH couldn't be in my group, so I had that going for me. So I was pretty high spirits going into this race.
That's awesome.
I can't lie, I'm kind of happy that I won my race because that means Tej can't be in my group either. But yeah, so Ack, you are guaranteed 3 runners that are 4 and 2, and 1 runner from the qualifier on Saturday. Anybody you want to face? Anybody you
This
want to
is
avoid?
randomizer and all that. Nobody's safe. Nobody is, a clear dominant favorite over anyone else. I mean, you can say someone's got a slight advantage, but like I said, any one little play can change everything. So as far as I'm concerned, anybody that comes in my group, I'm scared to death of.
So basically, you're saying you want Gerdo, Ben, and Christos in your group. All right, cool.
That's
I'll
fine.
jot it down.
I just know that
Easy peasy.
TGH won't be in it, so I mean, I was just trying to look at the one positive I could take from group stages.
Yeah. Tej, you can have you can have one other 5-win runner in your group, and then some 4 and 2s, and then maybe someone from the qualifier if you have a 5 and 1. Anybody you're concerned with, or you don't really care who you face, or
Yeah, it doesn't really matter to me, honestly. I'm just really again, I said it after I won the 5th match of Swiss, and I'll say it again. I really couldn't have seen myself 5 and 1 in the Swiss. So I mean, anything is just kind of gravy right now. Like
you're just happy with
I'm just really happy with the final record. Yeah, like even
Nice.
if I lost this one.
Well, I mean,
I'm really jealous of your guys' standings right now.
See you Saturday. I'll be watching.
Rip.
so
I
you have to
can't
get off
wait.
work early to make that race.
It's gonna be a bloodbath.
You
as
better
everyone's
make it
calling
worth it.
Yeah,
You better
it's
make it
gonna
worth
be-
it.
It's gonna be a train wreck. Like so many good runners in one race like that. Oh man, I'm not looking forward to it. I kind of am because it's a big race, but with my tournament life on the line, not so much.
I
Any
really
final
thought
thoughts
that's
from anybody?
where I was going to end up, to be honest. Like, if you were to ask me, how do you think you'll do in the Swiss? I was like 3-3, like guaranteed 100%. That's what I would have said. I mean, that's, the SRL rankings, whatever they mean. I mean, that's kind of where I was sitting. And honestly, that race seemed like a lot of fun to me. I mean, I was like kind of not hoping to be in it, but like if I was, like, it was going to be fun.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going for like 4-2, but I mean 3-3's pretty close. At least I'm still alive, right? So.
Yeah, man, and you get to be in like one of the most fun races ever. If I could give you any advice, I would say go to Turtle Rock.
You don't need to tell me twice, because ask Ben how many times I said go to T-Rock. Even like I think it was Teach didn't have hammer. I was like, go to T-Rock.
Which is funny because we were talking about TJ in Teacher's stream earlier about Evanitis' race right before this, and we were like, Evanitis will go to T-Rock from the beginning of the game, just like major glitch his way up there and just no hammer, no
DMA, and like whatever. Actually, no, you can't even DMA in T-Rock. You could though, he would, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, it was an awesome race, guys. It was really fun to commentate. I'm sure you guys will enjoy the multitude of high fives you guys gave each other throughout that race. Yeah, GG's again. Congrats on your records.
Thank you. Thanks for commentating, guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
No problem. Do you want to sign us off here, Ben?
Sure. Thanks again to Feasel and the tracker, Space Cowboy, and thanks to my commentary partner Solski and the runners Ack and Tej. Solski's already got the commands in the chat, but if you liked what you saw this evening, feel free to give all of these channels a follow real quick. There will for sure be more randomizer action on all the Speed Gaming channels throughout the rest of the week, culminating in the qualifier race on Saturday, where 6 people will make it out alive. The 35-ish man race. I don't remember the exact numbers. So follow Speed Gaming and follow us, and we'll catch you guys on the next race. Have a great night, everybody.
Cheers, everyone.